Hi guys, how are
Hi.
Hi,
you?
Rachel.
How are you, Rachel?
I'm doing great. So to start, franchise terrified me as a child because my mom thought it was a movie about a lawyer and put it on, and then all of a sudden Freddy Krueger showed up, and I was like three screaming. But it did make me have a deep love of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and this franchise in particular with this movie, you guys are. It's not just horror; it's everyone kind of sees the importance that the first Nightmare on Elm Street has for cinema as a whole. For you guys, how has it been throughout the last decades trying to navigate not only horror fans loving this, but just film fans in general loving the movie?
Well, we're constantly, pulled aside to ask questions about almost every single aspect of the movie and our relationship with Wes Craven and what it was like and all the details that we got to live. And it's great because it helps us remember. Remembering 40 years ago is not easy, but
Mhm.
this guy has a great memory. But I do think that just talking about it has actually enriched it in my mind. I never really appreciated it as much as I do today. Even
Mhm.
back then, it's been a growing appreciation, even in my own, experience.
I wish Wes was here to embrace this anniversary and the accumulation of fans and the attention that the franchise has, and John Saxon too. We tend to forget, but John was in three of the films, and uh, John just such a great actor and also touched old Hollywood. And then by touching both Heather and I, we got an insight from the horse's mouth into the golden age of Hollywood and his experiences with stars like Audrey Hepburn and Burt Lancaster and John Huston, the famous director, and Marlon Brando and James Dean and Elvis Presley, Bruce Lee. But just to have that access to someone like John, and he's really an important part of the franchise, and I miss him.
Mhm.
But it's nice to celebrate it because I can share some of those stories with people like you, and it keeps John alive and Wes alive.
Yeah. And what I love about this franchise is there's so many moments that like it's hard to pinpoint like your favorite moment within the franchise because like I think about the movie that I watched as a 3-year-old was the third one when they're driving around in a loop because they're stuck on Elm Street and can't get off, or like in A New Nightmare when they're climbing through the sheet and they can't get out of the sheet. But with a franchise like that, do you guys as creatives have a moment where you're like, yeah, that one is my favorite, even though I was in it and had to film and was technically working on the day?
Well, I mean, I think there's so many moments from Wes Craven's New Nightmare that, for some reason, that movie I had a lot of favorite moments like that because I loved the way that it intersected with Hansel and Gretel and like how following the pills instead of the breadcrumbs, like that was so ingenious, and getting to act with Wes Craven in a scene was such an epic moment in my career. So there's so many. I mean, of course, getting to be in the bathtub scene, creating a scene that will be remembered for so long for its creativity. I just feel like there's too many to even mention.
Yeah, it's I love, obviously, in terms of just a kill and cinema history. I love Tina on the ceiling, but
Yeah.
in another film that one of the ones that Heather's not in, you just reminded me of. I do love the exit of Danny and Lisa
Hmm.
Wilcox when
Mm-hmm.
they come out of the diner. The Crave Inn, get it?
Yeah.
Nudge, nudge, wink,
Yeah.
wink. When they come out of the diner where she works and they get in the pickup truck and that becomes that loop because
Hmm.
that's what my nightmares are like. I get in a
Hmm.
loop sometimes in my nightmares like that. And I love the fact that that's such an aesthetic choice and so simple. It didn't
So
cost
simple.
anything.
Well, same with me going through the steps when my feet go into the goopy
Mm-hmm.
steps. So many people. That's probably the one scene that everyone says, I've had a nightmare like that. Oh my gosh, I can't run and my feet are in quicksand or whatever. Like that's such an iconic nightmare. And all the films encompass, everyone's different nightmares that they've had in their lives.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for talking to me. I've never looked at boiler rooms the same in my life. And so this is such a cool experience that I can't wait for everyone to celebrate A Nightmare on Elm Street for its
Thank
anniversary.
you.
Well, thank you. Yeah,
Best
and
of luck to
for
you.
all the kids that saw it on video, they have to check this out.
Yeah, they
They're
gotta.
not kids anymore, but they
Yeah.
got to check it out.
I love it. Thank you guys so much.
All right.